Picture someone you hold dear, maybe a parent, grandparent, or friend in their late 70s or beyond. And you notice they are not quite themselves. Perhaps they pause to catch their breath after a short walk, misplace their glasses more often, or lean on furniture for balance. It is tempting to shrug it off as just growing older, a natural slowdown we all expect. Life is hectic, and we tell ourselves it is normal. But what if those small moments, the quiet exhaustion, the forgotten names, or the cautious steps, are not just aging? What if they are subtle signals? The body whispering that something is amiss? Here is a jaw-dropping fact after age 75. Nearly all deaths, 99%, stem from just 5 key causes. Not a long list, just 5. And the hardest truth, most people overlook these warning signs until it is too late. Today, we are here to shine a light on these 5 causes. Not to stir fear, but to arm you with understanding. This is about love, about safeguarding those you cherish, and perhaps yourself, so the later years are filled with vitality, grace, and connection. 1. Social isolation and depression. Rose, an 84-year-old who used to be the heart of her neighborhood, always at her porch swing, waving at kids on bikes, or sharing homemade cookies with friends. Her home buzzed with warmth. But lately, Rose has been absent. Her swing sits still, her curtains stay drawn, and when you call, she says, "I am just not up for company." Maybe you have seen this in someone dear, a parent, grandparent, or friend over 75, pulling back from gatherings, skipping phone calls, or seeming lost in their own quiet world. It is tempting to think they just need space, or they are tired. But what if that silence is not just a mood? What if it is a hidden danger, eating away at their health? Today, we are diving into the firstly major cause of death after 75. Social isolation and depression. Loneliness is not just a feeling, it is a silent health crisis. And its impact is deeper than you might think. Let us unpack why this matters. Humans are wired for connection, no matter our age. But as we get older, life can pull us apart. Friends move away or pass on. Family gets busy, and suddenly, days go by without a single conversation. For someone like Rose, those empty hours pile up. And the toll is not just emotional. Research shows isolation is a heavy weight, raising the risk of heart disease by nearly 30% and stroke by over 30%. It can speed up dementia. 2. Clouding the mind faster than aging alone. Why? Loneliness does not just hurt the heart. It weakens the body. It can sap appetite, so meals get skipped. It dims the drive to see a doctor or take meds on time. It even slows healing. From cuts to broken spirits, depression in older adults does not always look like tears. It might show up as forgetting to eat, losing interest in hobbies, or sleeping fitfully, barely resting at all. Here is a story to make it real. Henry Bashar was a retired carpenter who loved whittling tiny animals for his grandkids. After his wife passed, he started staying home more. His kids lived far, and his old buddies were gone. "I am fine alone," he said, but his voice was flat. He stopped carving, let dish stack up, and barely ate. His daughter noticed he sounded foggy on calls. Not sad, just off. By the time she visited, Henry was frail, his health crumbling not from a clear disease, but from the quiet weight of being alone. Isolation is like that. It does not shout. It creeps, dimming energy, dulling purpose, until the body follows the mind's retreat. The hardest part, We often miss it, thinking they want to be left alone, or they will snap out of it. But humans do not outgrow the need for connection. We thrive on it, always. So, how do you fight this invisible threat? The good news is, small actions can spark big change. Start with a phone call. 5 minutes of checking in, asking about their day, can light up their world. If you are nearby, drop by for a quick chat. Maybe bring a coffee or a photo to share. Set up a weekly video call if distance is a hurdle. Just seeing a familiar face can shift their mood. Help your loved one find a tether to community. A local library's book club, a church group, or even a neighbor who loves to walk can be a lifeline. Encourage moments with younger folks, grandkids, or even a friendly teen next door. A shared laugh over a silly story can recharge their spirit. If you are the one feeling adrift, reach out, call a friend, join a class, or just say to someone, "I could use some company." You are not a burden. You are human, and you deserve to be heard. For caregivers, watch for shifts. Has your loved one stopped doing things they enjoyed, like gardening or playing cards? Are they eating less, sleeping poorly, or brushing off plans? These are not just quirks. They are clues. Gently nudge them toward connection. Invite them to a family meal or a community event, even if they resist at first. If they seem stuck, suggest a doctor visit. Depression can be treated, and even small steps like therapy or medication can lift the fog. Do not wait for them to ask for help. They might not know how. And for yourself, build connection into your life now. Meet a friend for a walk, join a hobby group, or share a meal with someone. These moments are not just nice, they are vital. Like air for your soul. Here is the hope. You hold real power. Social isolation and depression may be heavy, but they are not unbeatable. That quiet withdrawal, that skipped call, that untouched hobby, they are not just aging. They are signs, your heart and mind saying, "I need someone." By reaching out, fostering connection, and staying alert, you can keep yourself or your loved ones tethered to life's joy. That means more days for Rose to share cookies, more evenings for Henry to whittle for his grandkids, more moments for you to feel alive and linked to others. Pick up the phone, open the door, and keep connection strong. 2 neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. In Neurodegenerative diseases, the brain slowly loses its ability to function as it once did. In Alzheimer's, proteins clump into plaques and tangles, gumming up the connections between brain cells. It is like static on a phone line, disrupting memory, reasoning, even emotions. Parkinson's, on the other hand, often starts with the body. A slight tremor in a hand, a stiffness when reaching for a cup, or a slower, shuffling walk. These diseases creep in, and after 75, the risk skyrockets, doubling roughly every 5 years. What makes them so tricky is that the signs are not always what you think. Alzheimer's is not just forgetting where you parked. It might show up as a once cheerful person growing moody or withdrawn, or someone careful with money suddenly buying odd things online. Parkinson's might begin with a barely noticeable slowness, like taking longer to button a shirt, or a faint shake you mistake for nerves. Here is a story to bring it home. Maria Boscher was the heart of her knitting circle, her fingers nimble and her story sharp. But last year, she started dropping stitches. Literally and figuratively, she would stop mid-sentence, unable to find a word, or tell the same anecdote twice in an hour. Her friends chuckled, thinking, Maria is just scattered. Then she forgot a dear friend's birthday, something she never missed. By the time her family took her to a doctor, Alzheimer's had taken root. The signs were there. The way she grew frustrated over small tasks, the blank looks during conversations, the way she stopped knitting altogether, but no one knew to look deeper. Neurodegenerative diseases are like that. They hide in plain sight, masquerading as quirks until they have done real damage. So, how do you protect your brain or help someone you love? The good news is, while we cannot stop these diseases yet, we can slow them down, especially if you act early. Start with the mind. Keep it active. Like a muscle, you do not need to be a scholar. Just try something new. Pick up a crossword puzzle, play a card game with friends, or even watch a documentary and talk about it after. These small challenges spark your brain, building new pathways to keep it sharp. If you are caring for someone, encourage them to stay engaged. Ask them to share a story from their past or try a simple hobby like coloring or gardening. It is not just fun, it is medicine for the mind. Food plays a big role too. A Mediterranean-style diet is like fuel for your brain. Load up on colorful fruits like oranges and pomegranates, rich in antioxidants that protect brain cells. Add vegetables like zucchini or bell peppers, full of nutrients that keep your mind humming. Fish like salmon or sardines, high in omega-3s, are like oil for your brain's gears. Drizzle some olive oil on your salad and toss in a handful of almonds. Both help fight inflammation that can harm brain function, and do not skip sleep. A good night's rest, 7 to 8 hours, is like a reset button, clearing out toxins that build up in your brain. If you or a loved one struggle with sleep, try a calming routine, like reading or a warm drink before bed. If you notice changes in someone, do not wait. Maybe they are repeating themselves, losing their spark, or moving stiffly, like their joints are stuck. These are not just off days. Have a gentle talk. Say, "I have noticed you seem a bit different. Want to check in with a doctor?" It is not about scaring them. It is about giving them more years of clarity and connection. Early detection can open doors to treatments that slow these diseases, preserving who they are. For yourself, make brain health a habit now. Try a new recipe this week. Call a friend to reminisce, or take a quiet walk to clear your mind. These small steps add up. Here is the hope. You are not powerless. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's may be daunting, but they are not untouchable. Those little changes, the forgotten names, the slower steps, the quiet moods, they are not just aging, they are your brain asking for care. By staying active, eating smart, sleeping well, and catching signs early, you can keep your mind vibrant or help someone you love. Hold on to their stories, their laughter, their essence. Keep your brain engaged, keep it nourished, and keep those connections tight. 3. Falls and mobility decline. As we age, our bodies shift in ways that make staying steady harder. Bones lose their density, becoming brittle, like chalk that snaps under pressure. Muscles weaken, especially if we sit more than we move. Reaction times slow, so that split-second catch when you trip is not as sharp. A fall might seem like a fluke, but it is often the result of small, sneaky factors piling up. That cluttered hallway rug, a dimly lit staircase, or a slick bathroom floor can turn a moment into a disaster. Add in physical changes, like weaker legs from too little activity, or even a medication that makes you dizzy, and the risk grows. For Louise, that rug was just one piece of the puzzle. Her knees had been stiffer lately, and she had not been walking as much. The fall was not just an accident, It was a signal something needed to change. Here is a story to make it hit home. Walter Bassi lived alone and loved his daily routine. Watering his tomato plants and reading on his porch. One morning, he slipped on a wet kitchen tile, fracturing his wrist. He brushed it off as a one-time thing, but the injury slowed him down. He stopped gardening, skipped meals because cooking felt hard, and grew keter, almost withdrawn. Within a year, his health had spiraled, not from the wrist alone, but from the ripple effects: less movement, less confidence, less life. Falls are not just about the moment you hit the ground. They can steal independence, joy, even years, triggering a chain reaction of decline. The painful truth: this is not rare. A broken hip, a head injury, or even the fear of falling again can trap someone in a smaller, frailer world. And too often, families miss the warning signs until it is too late. So, how do you fight back? The power lies in prevention. And it starts with where you live. Walk through your home, or your loved ones, with fresh eyes. That throw rug in the living room, tuck it away or tape it down. That dark stairwell, add bright lighting. Maybe a motion sensor nightlight. In the bathroom, install grab bars by the toilet and shower. And lay down non-slip mats. Clear clutter from floors. No stray shoes or cords to trip over. These are not big projects, but they are lifesavers. If you are helping someone older, check their footwear. Worn-out slippers with no grip are an accident waiting to happen. Swap them for sturdy shoes with good traction, even for indoor use. Then, focus on the body. You do not need to be an athlete to stay steady. Gentle exercises can make a huge difference. Try Tai Chi, a flowing practice that boosts balance and calms the mind. Perfect for any age. Chair yoga is another gem, strengthening legs and core. While you sit, no gym required. Even standing on one foot for a few seconds a day, maybe while brushing your teeth, trains your body to stay upright. If you are caring for someone, encourage small movements. Invite them for a slow walk around the yard, or set up a simple stretching routine together. It is not just about strength. It is about teaching the body to react, to catch itself, to stay in control. Do not overlook medications. Some pills, especially for blood pressure or sleep, can cause dizziness or lightheadedness, especially when standing up fast. Ask a doctor or pharmacist to review the prescriptions. Looking for risky combinations. If you notice someone wobbling or seeming unsteady, bring it up gently. Say, "I have noticed you seem a bit shaky. Want to talk to your doctor?" It is not about nagging. It is about keeping them free to live their way. And here is the key. Act before a fall happens. Waiting until after a fracture or a scare is like locking the door after a break-in. One stumble can rob someone of their confidence, their routines, their sense of self. Here is the uplifting truth. Falls are not inevitable. They are not just bad luck or aging. That wobble, that near miss, that moment of hesitation, they are clues. Your body saying, "Help me stay strong." By making your home safer, moving a little each day, and staying proactive, you can keep yourself or your loved ones steady on their feet. That means more mornings for Louise to snip herbs, more evenings for Walter to read on his porch, more moments to live fully, fearlessly, and free. Take a step today. Make a small change and keep mobility alive. 4. Respiratory infections, like pneumonia. As we age, our lungs and immune system face new hurdles. Lungs lose their stretch, like an old balloon that does not inflate as well. Tiny airways get less efficient at clearing out mucus or germs. Letting infections settle in, the immune system, once firche defender, slows down, taking longer to tackle even a simple virus. For older adults, especially those with conditions like diabetes or heart trouble, a cough or sore throat is not just an annoyance. It can spiral into pneumonia, a lung infection that fills air sacs with fluid, making breathing a struggle. Harold's cough seemed harmless, but his body was less equipped to fight it off. The scary truth: what feels like a cold in a younger person can become deadly for someone over 75, and the signs are often mistaken for something milder. Here is a story to drive it home. Grace, 79, was a retired teacher who loved reading to kids at the library. One winter, she caught what she thought was a flu, a bit of fever, some tiredness. She stayed in bed, drank soup, and waited it out, but her fever lingered, and she started feeling confused. Barely able to get up, her daughter called for help, and doctors found severe pneumonia. Grace had not realized how serious it was. The clues were there: the way her breathing grew shallow, the unusual fog in her mind, the fatigue that pinned her down. But she and her family saw it as just a bug. Respiratory infections are sneaky like that. They start small, a tickle, a chill, but in older adults, they can escalate fast, especially if ignored. So, how do you protect yourself or someone you care about? First, vaccines are your shield. They are not just for kids. Get your flu shot every year. No excuses. It lowers your risk of flu turning into something worse, like pneumonia. Ask your doctor about the pneumonia vaccine, which targets the bacteria most likely to cause trouble. There is also a vaccine for RSV, a virus that hits older lungs hard. These shots are not foolproof, but they stack the odds in your favor, giving your immune system a head start. If you are helping someone older, check their vaccine history. A quick call to their doctor can confirm what they need. Hygiene is your next line of defense. It sounds basic, but washing your hands with soap for 20 seconds, especially after being out in public, can stop germs in their tracks. Avoid touching your face, where viruses sneak into your nose or mouth. During flu season, steer clear of crowded places like malls or buses. If you can, if a friend or family member is sick, it is okay to postpone that visit. Say, "Let us catch up when you are feeling better." At home, keep the air clean. Open windows for fresh air when weather allows. Or use an air purifier to trap dust and germs. A humidifier can help too, keeping your throat and nose from drying out, which makes it harder for viruses to take hold. Pay attention to your body or your loved ones. A cough that hangs on, a fever that will not quit, or feeling winded after light activity. These are not things to ignore. Confusion or chest pain, mild, can be a warning. Do not wait it out. Call a doctor, describe the symptoms, and ask if it is time to come in. If you are checking on someone, ask, "How is that cough doing?" Or, "Are you feeling okay breathing?" If they seem off, trust your gut. Early action can stop an infection before it digs in too deep. For Harold, a quicker call might have kept him out of the hospital. For Grace, noticing her confusion sooner could have changed her story. Here is the empowering part. You are not defenseless. Respiratory infections like pneumonia may be a serious threat, but they are not unstoppable. That lingering cough, that slight fever, that extra tiredness, they are not just a cold. They are your body waving a flag, saying, "Act now." By staying up to date on vaccines, keeping clean, and catching symptoms early, you can protect your lungs and keep breathing easy. That means more mornings for Harold to laugh at the diner, more afternoons for Grace to read to kids, more moments for you or your loved ones to live fully and freely. Stay vigilant, stay healthy, and keep the air clear. 5. Cardiovascular disease. It does not always arrive with a loud bang. More often, it tiptoes in, cloaked as normal wear and tear. And that sneaky nature is what makes it so perilous. Let us unpack what is going on. As we grow older, our heart and blood vessels face a tougher climb. Arteries, once pliable like fresh garden hoses, grow rigid over time, resisting the easy flow of blood. The heart, that steadfast engine, must pump with extra force to keep things moving. Meanwhile, cholesterol and other fats can pile up inside those vessels, narrowing them like a road choked with debris. Blood pressure inches higher, often without a single hint to warn you. For someone like Ellen, cutting her lake walk short might not just be a lack of pep. It could be her heart signaling, "I am under strain." The real danger, these signs are so easy to miss. That bone-deep tiredness that will not lift, the way a short stroll leaves you gasping, or that strange ache in your chest you dismiss as heartburn. These are not just the toll of age. They are whispers from your body. Urgent little nudges saying, something is wrong. Here is a story to make it real. Frank, Chisajo, was the guy everyone counted on at his local book club, always ready with a sharp quip and a stack of novels. But last fall, he started skipping meetings. "I am feeling a bit off," he told his friends. They smiled, thinking, Frank is just taking it easy. No big deal. Then came a day when Frank felt lightheaded, just reaching for a coffee mug. He laughed it off. But weeks later, he was rushed to the hospital with a weakened heart. The signs had been there all along. The way he got winded folding laundry, the puffiness in his feet, the faint dizziness when he stood too fast. But no one, not even Frank, saw them as trouble. That is how cardiovascular disease works. It does not always grab you by the collar. It lingers, subtle and sly, until it is too late to turn back. So, how do you push back against this quiet threat? First, do not wait for a wake-up call. Make regular doctor visits your habit, like brushing your teeth. Ask for your heart's vital stats: blood pressure, cholesterol, pulse. These are not just numbers. They are your heart's diary, telling you where it stands. If your doctor raises a flag, do not look away. Lean in, ask what it means, and what you can do. Then, think about your kitchen. You do not need to overhaul your meals. Just nudge them toward heart-friendly choices. Sprinkle oats or chia seeds into your breakfast. Their fiber helps sweep cholesterol away. Reach for a handful of cherries or grapes for a snack, packed with compounds that soothe your blood vessels. Add a side of kale or arugula to your plate. They're like a gentle massage for your circulation. Movement is another powerful ally, and it does not mean signing up for a gym. A 20-minute walk each day, maybe around your neighborhood or a local park, can work wonders. Pair it with music or a chat with a friend, and it becomes a treat, not a chore. That simple stroll can ease your blood pressure, strengthen your heart, and lift your spirits. If you are watching over someone older, keep an eye on their patterns. Have they stopped doing things they once loved, like pruning their garden or meeting friends for coffee? Do they seem out of breath after grabbing the mail? These are not just quirks of age. They are clues worth chasing. Sit with them and say, "How are you holding up?" Listen closely. If they mention feeling sluggish or off, gently suggest a checkup. Spotting these signs early can shift the story from a health scare to a manageable tweak. Here is the uplifting part. You are not at the mercy of this disease. Cardiovascular disease may be a heavy weight, but it is not unstoppable. Those small signals, the weariness, the shortness of breath, the odd chest twinge, they are not just growing old. They are your heart tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Look at me." By acting now, with a doctor's guidance, smarter food choices, and a bit of daily movement, you can keep your heart steady and strong. That means more days for Ellen to walk by the lake, for Frank to crack jokes at book club, or for you and your loved ones to savor the moments that matter most. Stay sharp, take action, and let your heart keep beating bold. We have explored 5 hidden dangers after famous calfiers: isolation, memory loss, falls, lung infections, and heart strain. They threaten lives. But you can act, nurture bonds, eat well, secure homes, and stay vaccinated, and monitor health. Start today for you or those you love. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help others. Hit like and subscribe to Elderly Philosophy for weekly advice to thrive. You are in a warm community. Stay proactive, keep caring, and we will meet again soon.